And this is where I think we need to perhaps understand, and I want to share some thoughts with you and see what you feel. Let's pause here and go right back to the fundamentals. Why is it that literature, storytelling, and all expressions of storytelling, including drama, including folk theatre, including cinema, television, etc., why is it that it never seems to suffer a recession? The more distress there is on the economic front, the more people veer towards stories, films. And it's not merely escape. I mean, that's a very shallow, knee-jerk explanation that we try to give. Because stories occupy, no matter what the actual medium of expression, stories occupy a very profound role in our lives. In fact, when we are disturbed by the chaos of life, by the randomness of life, by the meaninglessness of life, when life doesn't make sense, it's stories which give us that expression. I think Ursula Le Guin said it quite well, if I remember right. I mean, I came across this essay by her, which begins with her wonderful statement. She used it for art. I'm going to use it for stories. Stories are also art. That stories give the listener, the reader, the viewer, whoever is receiving it, they give them the language to express themselves, to be able to understand themselves. Many times we read a good book, we watch some wonderful moment in a movie, and it is an epiphanic moment for us when we discover, yeah, I also feel that way. You were feeling that way, but it was inside, you weren't aware of. And even if you were aware of the feeling, you didn't know how to coherently be able to relate to it. Stories do that. Because it is the job of the storyteller to actually look at life, derive from life, and make sense of it. Life doesn't make sense. Most of the times it doesn't make sense. There are reversals taking place. There are odd kind of petty betrayals we notice in real life. There are frustrations which are continuous. There are disappointments which are contradictory. The person who loves you says something so harsh sometimes. When you really need the person's sympathy, they sometimes behave in a very harsh way. And you can't make sense out of that. How can you do that? Either you love me or you don't. But it's both. And it's become very difficult in life to make sense of a contradiction. But the truth lies in those contradictions. And it is those contradictions that storytellers veer towards. What is an idea? Idea essentially is a question. An idea is a question which begins to bug us. What if? Don't we start all things with what if? ऐसा हो तो? बच्चे भी उस तरीके से पूछते हैं. So suppose something like this. So that suppose is an exploration, actually, of a certain question which is dogging them. When you say what if, when you formulate your concept with a what if, what are you talking about? You're talking about a problem that your protagonist is going to come across. You're talking about a disturbance in the equilibrium of the character's life and how that equilibrium necessitates a response, making it imperative. And there begins the struggle. We use words like conflict, we use all these words, but essentially this is what, there are questions. So what is this question? This question comes out of a contradiction when something doesn't make sense. How could this have happened? A person wants to do something and comes across this huge setback, and you wonder that, but you want it desperately. I have no clue how you can possibly succeed, and yet you don't want to give up. It doesn't make sense logically. It doesn't lead to any kind of reasoning. But that is what the human spirit is. Those are the issues which raise questions. Two people being best friends for sometimes 12 years, like thick friends, fall apart in the most bitter way. Divorce is everywhere. When they got married, do you think that they got married with a view to divorce? No. They thought, I flung. Why? Because they believed that they wanted to grow old with the person. They loved the person so much, they wanted to spend their entire life with the person. What happened? Something happened. And that something doesn't make sense on the surface. Because surface actions don't make sense. A conscious mind doesn't allow us to make sense because it's very, very limited and it is dogged by all kinds of nonsense like logic and reason and rationality and morality and consistency and all these things we seek. Life doesn't give us those things. So we create stories. And in stories, we unleash those situations. But we then present those situations in such a way that the entire package makes sense. If somebody watches a series of yours, even an episode, switches the episode off and is silent for some time, if he feels, yeah, correct, hota hai. You're shaking your head in wonder. Silently, you read a good book, you're quiet. You come out of a great film, the lobby is quiet. Because they're sort of thinking about it, it has affected them. Yeah, boss, hota hai. It has made sense. And when it makes sense, it has touched them in a way that life has not touched them. And this is where stories, by making sense, they're touching spots in our consciousness where we don't even realize that they exist. Because that is where the real sense lies. If you look at mythology, why is mythology so riveting? Why is it that it's so bloody eternal? Why is it that it affects, cultures which have nothing to do with the original setting of the story at all? Because mythology goes to that deep level where suddenly things begin to make sense. So this is what I'm saying we are all about. When you enter this particular field and you tell Parak and or Manisha that I want to become a web series writer. Why? Because I find the medium exciting. And of course, somewhere you also believe that there is professional scope which is increasing, which is true, absolutely. Demand is galloping, as you must have been told. So you feel it's a great profession to get into and it's the right time. I'm sure I can think of ideas. It will be fun also, and at the same time, it will be rewarding. And yes, it can be absolutely both. But I'm putting it to you that there are many other rewarding professions. There are many other ways in which you can make your money if you want, or earn some amount of fame. Stock market is going for a toss. Maybe this is the right time for you to pick all those promising stocks if you want to make your money. Okay, and that will be quicker money. Maybe you can invest in real estate if you are rich. There are many ways of doing that. Why are you here? Why are you here in this extremely arduous and a very difficult process? Writing is the most creative department of any cinema industry, which means web series, as I said, television and cinema included. I cover all three. It is the most creative department and it is the most difficult department. Great directors will say, yaar, tu kuch bhi karwa le, yaar, likhwa mat mere se. I mean, that is the worst thing. Okay, and we know how difficult it is. Yet you are here. That is somewhere you have to connect with that spirit in yourself, which is actually seeking to do that profound job of picking up questions, then fictionalizing situations, fictionalizing those characters, creating imaginary sort of plots. Why? So that it makes sense, that question begins to make sense. If you really examine, and I don't mean like as an analyst or as a critic, but even as a viewer, as a budding screenwriter, examine any well-written series or cinema or film that you come across, and you will realize that it's consistently, thematically grappling with a recurrent question. And those questions are not separate in every episode or every situation. They are all linked, emerging from one another, because that is what these questions do. They're like a stone that you chuck into a pool, and then those ripples begin to emerge. So there are ripples at different stages and different sizes going on, and yet the origin of that is that one stone to chuck there, and that is what we do. We pursue the journey of the ripples caused by the disturbance that has been created by your concept, because the concept contains a question. You are here because somewhere your spirit is urging you to engage with the difficult questions of life. I'm sorry, I'm not saying you're philosophers. We do the job of philosophers, but we do it in our own way. We do it experientially. We do it using drama. But they are also trying to understand life. Psychologists are also trying to understand life. So are we. We don't write treatises and we don't write books and essays. And we don't go and teach philosophy. But that is what we do. And hence I'm saying it is very important. When I raised the earlier question, okay, this intuitively gets tied up with that. Why are stories so eternal? Why does the cinema industry, storytelling industry never go out of fashion? Every decade I have heard at seminars concerning books, publishing, literature, etc. And you have those doomsayers who say, literature industry is going, nobody reads. This generation doesn't read and they're busy watching and nobody is interested in that. We'll all go out of business. Nobody will be writing novels and all. Everybody's making those short films and nobody has the attention span to watch long form things. Cinema is dying. And every time these death knells are sounded, I don't find that happening at all. The number of films increasing. When people talk about attention spans, the 3-minute film, 1-minute film and all that jazz, I find web series coming up, which require a huge amount of stamina. We need have no anxiety about them. As long as there is life, there are stories. Because stories are about life. Stories are a response to life. And this is what I would urge you to never lose sight of. This is your eye of the bird that Droned asked Arjun, what do you see? And he said, Guru, I can only see this right now. And that is your eye of the bird. That stories are about unpeeling the surface layers of the experience of life so that you can start discovering hidden meanings where the causes of those confounding surface actions lie. Surface actions do not make sense always. So you're seeking to make sense. And that is what stays with me as a viewer when I watch your web series. I feel it has touched me. Why does it stay with me? Why is there a repeat value? Because I'm hungry for that. Every time that there is a thrilling twist, it's not merely giving me some stimulation or tickle in my brain. Okay, now what will happen? It's investing me further in the fate of the character. Oh shit, now what will he do? And what will he do is not only to do with actions, because what you're talking about is what is it that he's feeling? And as a result of you discovering what he's feeling, you discover what sort of a person therefore he is, because that feeling is revealing a dimension of him. So in that sense, it becomes a discovery of the character. And that discovery of the character and the interiority of the character is what? That's where life is. So whichever way you look at it, no matter how you analyze it, this is what I suspect we will always discover as the center of our motivations. And those of us who acknowledge it to ourselves, we will seek more profound stories. I'm saying your presentation can be any genre. It can be a thriller, horror film, comedy, rom-com. It doesn't matter. That is the genre that you are choosing. What is a genre? You know what the genre is? The genre is determined by a certain mood that you are creating. Now, it's like recently an old friend was saying this to a student. I mean, a very young person she was saying it to. And I was standing with her and I heard this and I felt, what a nice way to put it. She was telling that student that genre is like, you know, a calligrapher has a series of those pencil types, like H1B, and you know, they have all that, you know, HB and 2HB, and I don't even remember any longer, you know. We only knew Nataraj pencils. You know, whatever that was Nataraj pencil. But they have this series of things. Now, when you are planning to write something or draw something, that person, the writer chooses, okay, I think I would like to express this in this kind of calligraphy thing, for which I believe this will be interesting. That is genre. You're choosing. You give me a concept, even give me a plot, and I think if we sit, I may be able to demonstrate to you that yes, you can even write it as a drama, you can write it as a love story, you can write it as an adventure film, you can write it as a horror film. And this exercise of horror film, I recently tried. Okay, perhaps triggered off by that conversation, I don't remember. I said, let me just see this particular film, which I remember, which I like. What if I were to turn it? And I felt it's absolutely possible. And I got very charged. I said, what if I do this? What if I do that? And I actually wrote out two scenes in each of the genres. Believe you me, I mean, I'm not a very talented writer, but I thought at least it was faithful to that genre. So I'm saying it doesn't matter which genre you choose. This never goes away. Your search to dig deeper and deeper, with every twist and turn coming in, with every kind of surprise which your story is delivering to the character. Basically, what you're doing is you are disturbing a deeper equilibrium. Thereby, the multidimensionality of the character's personality begins to react. First you saw this, then you saw this, and the audience intuitively is piecing together the person. And now he begins to make sense. Initially, when you saw him, you felt a certain impulsive reaction to him, etc. You thought he was maybe like that. Now you're beginning to actually discover. And no other format delivers this opportunity for exploration as much as web series. I mean, it is truly beautiful. Manisha has written. I have never written. I've been a watcher and at best a script consultant on a couple of web series. But I've never written, really speaking, because I feel it would take too much of my time, and I have many things which I need to do. But this opportunity is truly for you, wonderful, truly for you. It's very lucky, very fortunate opportunity. And I'm so glad that somebody like Manisha has so generously agreed. And then Parak, it's a little, frankly, it's difficult to refuse Parak. When he gets after you, he gets after you. I mean, he's a student, but I mean, imagine bullying me. I mean, Rachita is much kinder. Okay? Parak will not take no for an answer. He'll couch it in whichever way he wants, but essentially, you're trapped. Parak ka phone aaya, matlab ye karna to padega. He's also, of course, one of the more hardworking students that has passed through my classroom. And I think Rachita will absolutely reinforce what I'm saying. She will corroborate what I'm saying. Okay, let's come back. Jokes aside. Therefore, I'm saying now we discussed stories. We discussed this, why this form also is relating to what I wanted to share with you. Now let's look at you.